This is the 2014 Dodge Dart GT. Now, the Dodge Dart is an all-new car for the American automaker, thanks to Chrysler coming in. It's a lot more stylish, it has a lot better lines than the outgoing Neon and Avenger, and it's a pretty damn good car. So, up front, we have the kind of reimagining of the Dodge crossbar grille with these swept back lights, very reminiscent of the Alfa Romeo Giuliettas, the cars in which the Dodge Dart is based on. We get the new Dodge hockey stripe thing. Rims, pretty big, pretty simple, pretty stylish. Overall, the car has really nice lines, you know. If you remember cars like the Avenger and the Caliber, Dodges used to be kind of big, brickish, and squarish, and the Dart is a return to something a little bit nicer, a little bit smoother, a little bit more curvaceous, and just a lot more attractive. In the tail, we have Dodge's new kind of taillights that stretch all the way across the Dodge lineup. These ones are really nice looking at night. The version we're driving is the GT model. Now, our GT model is powered by a 2.4 liter Tiger Shark 4-cylinder motor. Now, let's just pop the hood. One of the nice things about the new Tiger Shark motors is that they feature Fiat's multi-air technology. Now, the way multi-air works is instead of having the conventional intake camshaft and an exhaust camshaft, there's only one camshaft, the exhaust camshaft, and now the intake valves are now controlled by hydraulic fluid, which means that, say you're going down the road and you lift your foot off the gas and you want to reduce pumping losses and reduce that kind of unused energy inside the engine, the valves can actually shut completely independent of the exhaust valves, much like more complicated and much more expensive variable valve timing systems, except this one is way more adjustable and can be tuned for performance, can be tuned for fuel economy, can be tuned for drivability. Fiat says that it's good for up to, an extra 10% horsepower gain over standard, and it's kind of the future of what internal combustion is going to have to be if it's going to keep on surviving. Not to mention, it gets 185 horsepower, 2.4 liter, almost 180 pound-feet of torque. Not too bad. But the really nice part of the new Dodge Dart is inside. So, once you step inside the Dodge Dart, push-button starter, everything looks a lot nicer. If you've been in a Dodge in the past 3 to 5 years, go see a Dart, stop by your Dodge dealer, get in the Dart, and go for a test drive, because oh my gosh, this thing is so nice on the inside compared to what most Dodges that I've driven in the past couple of years have been, when they talked about Rubbermaid interiors and other things that were kind of laughable. This is a really slick, beautiful car. I always said that if you took an American car to 90% and gave the last 10% to an Italian, you'd end up with something absolutely gorgeous. And that's kind of what Dodge did with Chrysler, and it worked. The only thing I would complain about is possibly the steering wheel, which looks like it's kind of a leftover unit from Dodges of the past, but hopefully when they run out of stock in this cover, they'll come up with something a little bit more round and a little bit nicer to kind of complement the just beautiful interior. I mean, the way everything's laid out is just nice. Now we're sitting in some very comfortable leather seats, heavily bolstered, very nice, featuring Dodge's stow and go capacity down there. Now let's turn on some lights if we can figure that one out. Now you see extra storage inside, folds away nicely. The back seat, nice and spacious if you can see it. Not too bad. Now, one of the nice things down here, Mazda is really the only other company that gets this right with the plus back and the minus forward, so that when you do put it into drive and you do want to drive sportily and you're kind of accelerating like in a race car, you pull back to go up. You pull back And then what happens when you're braking? You're leaning forward, oh, you press down to shift down. Now, this is the GT, this isn't an SRT. Hopefully when the SRT comes out, it will be very, very nice. This is a great car for $25,000. There's absolutely nothing to complain about, nothing that would leave you wanting, except for maybe a little bit more power, and that's going to come in the future with an SRT model. When? We don't know, but with Dodge, they will definitely do something nice. Now, here we have a nice big 7-inch TFT display screen with big old navigation, everything from a radio, kind of you can play your connectivity, where if you notice, there's a place for your iPod, 12 volt, and even a CD DVD player. Now we have controls for the heating, we have climate controls. Look at that. Now that's a lot of stuff for a $25,000 car. So we can mess with everything, hit auto, just turn it all off, navigation, we can zoom in, we can zoom out, go back, we can see where we want to go to, points of interest, intersections. Just really a big step up for Dodge from where they've been in the past. And you know what? It's pretty nice. Now, this is the GT, so as soon as I can turn that on, let's take a look at our Monroney, thanks to our friends over at Prestige. You guys are the best. So, we have a 2013 Dodge Dart GT. You know, base price, $19,950. Comes pretty well equipped with the 2.4 liter Tiger Shark motor, 6-speed PowerTech automatic from Hyundai, I believe is where it came from, and just a whole lot of standard equipment. Now, our optional equipment includes the 18-inch rims for $1,000, which are pretty nice. Technology with our keyless Stone Go push-button starter, backup sensors for the parking, and you know, it's pretty nice. The keys, a lot nicer than in the past. You can have turn your engine on by itself, you can pop the trunk, lock it, do all that stuff, but it's a really, really good car for $26,000. I mean, most of these cars that you would get in today that is this nice on the inside and is this attractive on the outside, that's a $30,000 car. This is 26, starting at $19,950. You know what? If you're going to do a Dart, maybe the GT is the way to go. It's a pretty good car. So, now that we've talked about it for long enough, let's go drive it around. Now, the one thing I did want to mention before we start driving is we got this beautiful big sunroof. And I don't know if it's just teething problems for the first year, but with the auto one-touch buttons for the sunroof, with it closed all the way, it wants to do it just fine, because that's what happens when you're filming, not what happened every other time I was driving. Now, before, it was not closing all the way. If this thing was closed, and if it was open a little bit, then it would do it. But I guess I was wrong, and it looks like it works just fine. The other problem I was going to complain about was the one-touch features on the windows, which are also working just fine as well. So, never mind anything that I might have thought about the Dart GT. It's a great little car. So, let's take it for a ride. Put her in drive. Let's throw on the navigation. Where's the map at? Let's go to the map. And we're off. Now, one thing I did notice in this car, and I'm not sure if it's the multi-air system or what it is exactly, but when you make the shift from first to second or second to first, kind of under part throttle, you hear a little bit of like a choo, 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 almost as if you had a really muted blow-off valve or some sort of a bypass valve if it was a turbocharged car, but it's not. It's naturally aspirated. It's the 2.4 liter inline four Tiger Shark 4-cylinder with multi-air thanks to Fiat, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's got 185 horsepower. It goes. It's a 4-cylinder, so you have to get it kind of higher up in the rev range if you want it to move, but that's a $25,000 commuter car. this thing's fantastic. And you know what? There's not much else that you could ask for. It's got plenty of power. I mean, 10 years ago, this car would have 110 horsepower, and that would be on a good day. And so, you know, now you got 185, and that's a lot. So we're just going to take it down the road and see how we like it. Now, one thing I can complain about is because the sunroof, when the sunroof shade is open, you can't really see that big display. And that's a shame because it is beautiful. So, here we go. I mean, listen. Not too loud, it's not too noisy, the engine's not working too hard, you can't hear the transmission. Now, I have heard the 9-speed is going to be coming for the future, and possibly that could be a nice addition. I drove the 9-speed in the new Cherokee, and it was fantastic. So, looking forward to that. But overall, no complaints about the Dodge Dart. It's a beautiful car, beautiful price, beautiful engine. It's just a beautiful package. And you know what? If Dodge keeps going like this with the way they're going with automotive, watch out, Big Two, because Dodge is coming after you. And they got something good in their hands. So, I hope you enjoy. Go to a Dodge dealer, test drive a Dodge Dart, try the GT. If you really want a lot more power, hold out for an SRT version. I mean, we can only dream and hope of what kind of fun stuff those mad scientists over there at Dodge are gonna throw into that kind of car. But, you know, if you remember something like the Caliber SRT4 that had just way too much power and just ridiculous amounts of torque steer, and then you remember how affordable and how fast and underrated the Neon SRT4 was. See, there's a Neon right there, speak of the devil, for sale. So, you know, it's a great car. Dodge Dart builds on a name that Dodge used in the past. It was a muscle car. It was an affordable muscle car at the time. And you know what? The new one is a pretty great